Hi guys, so as usual, in this particular recording here, we'll be sharing with you behind the scenes, right, of how I prepare and analyze the market. Okay, and as usual, we're gonna just do our analysis and I'll drop you some commentary along the way as well. Right, so with that, I'll get started with this week's analysis and prep over here. Alright, so as usual, we're going to start off with the dollar index over here and just a minor update as to what the market has happened and what we'll be looking out for right now. Right, so for the dollar over here, with the current momentum, you can see very likely we're going to retest this high, giving us that double top. And until this high here is being broken impulsively, I will personally still be more interested in, I would say, the short-term downside for now, right? At least in what I'm seeing at this moment. Okay, so euro dollar is basically the inverse of dollar index, so nothing much, rather similar, right? We'll wait for potentially this forming a double bottom, and we'll see if we can get a short-term trade to the upside from there. Right, so from a daily time frame, what we're seeing is that the market has came down rather impulsively, reacted, and I would say not reacted yet, but currently is testing this 3076 region. We kind of expect a little bit of a bounce back up, especially with a little bit of a confluence of this bearish channel. So short-term expectation here is we might see some relief to the upside, right, for pound dollar. Okay, so pound dollar on the lower time frame here, potentially what we're seeing is that this might develop as a 5-wave structure. Okay, and that would then, of course, after the minor correction here, it can open up a little bit more downside first, right? So we definitely need to see how it reacts. So overall, I would say just be patient. Not much of a clarity at this moment for pound dollar, yeah. Okay, next one is the dollar Canadian. So very quickly, nothing much has developed last week, yeah. So the entire analysis still remains intact. We just keep it as it is. Okay, so dollar CAD, you can see on the forward is basically sideways consolidation, and most of the time when we see something like that, we don't want to pay too much attention to that because it's just not clear, right? We want to wait for a clearer pattern to develop before we even consider any opportunity. Right? The daily is slightly clearer in terms of the direction. You can see that we want to be focusing more on the upside. But on the lower time frame for our nothing much right now, right? In fact, we had a little bit of a V shape here, so we just give it time and see how it's going to develop from here, right? Good. So I'm going to look at dollar yen. Okay, so from a daily scale, you can see last week we kind of projected that this would continue higher to come towards this zone. So as of now, we are already there. Okay, so that gives us that clarity as well. There's a good chance, moving forward, it can still go up a little bit, but we'd rather not buy it anymore at this moment. Okay, instead, we're rather looking for a potential reversal trade, maybe on the lower time frame. Okay, so I think dollar yen here will be interesting next week to see if we can get kind of like either a diagonal setup that looks like that for a downside, or we can't get a V-shaped formation and a tiny flag here, then we'll look for the downside. Okay, so until we kind of prove, like the market proved that it can still go higher, overall we'll still be looking more on the downside, because the room that it can go lower is way significant. It's way more significant than the room that it can potentially go higher, right? So that's why we're focusing more on the downside itself. Okay, so over here you can see last week basically, before this entire push up, we were expecting this to go a little bit lower, and that's where we're going to look for an opportunity. The market did not put that in. Okay, instead it just went higher. So we're going to update a little bit here on the lower scale. Definitely not the best structure. Okay, not like the cleanest. We do get a little bit of this here as well. Okay, so there might be a little bit more upside, at least from a forward scale, and then we might see the market kind of give us a little bit of a pullback. So in terms of something like that, I would personally not be too interested anymore unless we're looking at a very short-term trade to capitalize on this. But if we're looking more on the swing side of things, not something that I'll be too interested in. Okay. Okay, Okay, so that's on the major pairs. Overall, nothing much that we want to pay too much attention yet. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I think today recording over here, we are progressing a little bit faster. I think you guys are slowly starting to get a hang of it as well. Okay, so you know, that's what I also wanted you guys to be aware, is that the more practice you put in, the more familiar you are in terms of the method processes. It's not going to take a lot of time to get yourself prepared for the week. Okay, but it's very, very important to put in the work so that you know what you want to focus on for the week ahead. Okay, and then with that, you can remain focused, as well as you're not going to be emotional, and you're not going to rush into anything. Okay, because you are aware that you're well prepared. Okay, so that's the idea of it.